MasterClass. Today we're going to be painting this willow tree, and I'm so excited for everyone to join me in this class. Remember, no art experience necessary, and we're going to have a really fun time painting. Alright, for this project you're going to need some white paint, purple, dark blue, yellow, magenta, and black. You're also going to need a cup of water to wash out your brushes, and some bundles of Q-tips, a bunch of different sizes. I have a couple of 4s, 3s, 6s, your canvas, and a couple of these paintbrushes. All right, let's get started. First off, you're gonna start with your big brush right here. You're gonna dip it in water, and you're gonna just get the excess water right off. The first thing we're gonna be doing is the background. So we're gonna be painting. We're gonna start with this yellow beam of light coming in, and then we're gonna move into the blue background. So you're gonna start, wet your brush. You're gonna get your yellow, and you're gonna mix in some white, because you want it to be a light color of yellow. And then you're gonna go not straight in the middle, but a little offset, and you're gonna start painting your beam. Next, we're gonna do the blue background. So you're gonna start on the right of your light beam, and you wanna mix your blue and a little bit of white, and you can have a little bit of yellow on your brush still because we want to have this nice blend from the yellow to the blue. So then go ahead and work your way all the way to the right, slowly becoming darker and darker. And that happens by adding more blue than white in the paint that you're picking up with your brush. If you're having trouble spreading the paint, add a little bit more water to your brush, and that will help the acrylic paint spread really nicely on the canvas. And then we're gonna go to the other side of the light beam and work your way from the light beam all the way to the left side of the canvas. Same thing, you wanna have the lighter blue closer to the yellow beam, and as you move away from it, slowly get darker. Awesome, now that we finished the background, I want you to pause and let your background dry before we get started on the blue and purple leaves. So now we're gonna start on our base of our willow tree with our purples and blues. So you're gonna go ahead and get some Q-tips. I'm gonna start with 4 Q-tips. Go ahead and bring them together nice and tight. You want it to be really clumped up at the top, and then take a rubber band and bind them together. Now that you have your bundle, we're gonna go ahead and pick up some paint. So we're gonna grab a little bit of blue and some purple and a little bit of black, and later we're gonna grab even a little bit of white. To take your bundle, dip it in a little black and a little purple, and start in your upper left corner and start dabbing with your Q-tip. For this, it's really important not to put too much paint on your Q-tip because you don't want it to just spread all over. You wanna have that nice, pretty effect of the Q-tip dots, because that will really add some depth to your painting. While you're working your way from left to right, doing these Q-tip dots, you also want to have some leaves falling down. And so you'll take your Q-tip and slowly bring some dots down to a little bit past halfway. And I like to do about 6 to 7 of those dark purple leaves coming down. So first, we're gonna tackle the grass base. You're gonna take one of your longer, thinner brushes and do a flattened hill shape on the bottom, outline it, and then fill it in with black paint. We're gonna go onto the tree trunk. So when I look at this tree trunk, I like to think of it as one really big branch kind of leaning towards the right and some smaller branches coming off of it. So you're gonna start in about the middle part of your canvas, slightly to the right, and you're gonna have a zigzag. A little bit of like an S zigzag down till you meet that little black hill that you just painted in. Once you're there, we're gonna finish the tree trunk by going closer to the light beam and kind of following the shape of that initial zigzag that we made. And then you're gonna go all the way up until you meet and close that branch that you have just drawn. And then you're gonna go ahead and fill it in with black paint. Next, we're gonna do a couple other branches on the left of our tree trunk. I like to start with one stroke going up, and then you can always make your branches thicker, but you can't make them thinner. So I like to start as thin as possible and slowly thicken it. And do a little smaller branches branching off of that bigger branch. Alright, now we're going to do the grass, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your smaller paintbrush and you're going to start from that black little hill that you made, and you're going to start with your paintbrush there and flick up and make those grass marks. For the tree, we're going to add one more little branch on the right, and we're going to add some gray detailing to the trunk of the tree. And how we're going to do that, you are going to take your black and mix it with a little bit of white paint, and we're going to start with like this big zigzag little squiggle in the middle, and then do some other squiggles around. Use that gray, go on the branches even, just adding some more detail to that. So our last step to finish up our willow tree is to do this beautiful magenta, pink, and white. I recommend getting some fresh Q-tip bundles for this part of it. So this is going to go on top of your purple, blue, and black leaves that you've painted, but as we're going into this final step, I want to say that I recommend leaving some of the purple and black untouched. You want it to come through. So as we're doing this, you're going to cover the top of it and also do wisps just like you did with the purple, blues, and blacks, but these pink and white ones are going to go kind of in between, not completely overlapping the wisps you've already painted. So for this section, we're primarily just using white and magenta paint. But that does not stop us from being creative and having a lot of flexibility with that paint, because we can do mixtures, having sections of a lighter pink, having sections where you're just dipping into your magenta paint. Also, if you want to mix your white and magenta to make your own colors, so you can kind of have a gradient of that. It looks really pretty when you can see different shades of that magenta. Don't be afraid to say I've done enough color, because it is really vibrant and we don't want to completely wash out the wisps that we've already done. And once you feel good about the amount that you've added, you can take a step back and look at the beautiful willow tree that you've created. And now you're all finished. Great job, everyone. Please send us some pictures of you and your work of art to virtualbruinwoods@gmail.com. Thanks for painting with me.